Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marie and I am a beautiful mess, officially. Here on my channel, I like to do a lot of project panning content, eyeshadow content, and really any other kind of makeup content that I can think of. So if that sounds good to you, sit back, relax, and come on a magical makeup journey with me. Today's episode is going to be my second update to my Pan That palette. So if you want to see if I met my goals from last month, how far I've gotten, if I've hit any new pans, well then stay right there. We're going to jump right into it. So like I said, this episode is going to be my second update to my Pan That palette. This is a Pantastic Ladies collab, which is a group over on Facebook that coordinates a lot of different project pans. So if you haven't checked them out, hop on over to Facebook. I'll put the link to their group in the description box down below. And this year, the theme of Pan That palette is Old Faithful, which was created by Lee Golder. So Old Faithful is supposed to be a palette that you have used before. It is tried and true, and you're supposed to use it up. So the palette that I chose for this year is my e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette. Now, I was a little bit not paying attention to the directions. I really had not touched this palette, but it had been sitting in my collection, and it really is a staple palette. So I did think that it fit into the description of the Old Faithful Pan That palette, but I just have more work cut out for myself. I will throw up the montage of what this was looking like at the beginning and the progress that I've had over the past couple of months. So as you can see, I really have had steady progress on this palette, but not quite enough progress to be completing it by the end of the year. There are 14 grams of product in this palette, which means that I need to be using up 1.17 grams per month in order to use it up by the end of the year. And where we were at last month, I was sitting at 85.77 grams, which was a total of 2.11 grams used up in 3 months' time, which put me 1.14 grams behind. So don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this palette this year, but I'm sure as heck going to give it the old college try. Did I hit 1.17 grams used this month? Well, let me show you what the palette looks like, and I will talk you through each one of the shades. So at the end of April, this is what my Pan That palette is looking like now. I'm going to go ahead and put a picture up on the screen of what this palette is looking like now compared to what it was looking like last month, just so I don't have to hold the palette up. And let me talk you through each of the shades. None of these shades have any shade names, so I'm going to start at the top and name that shade 1, the lightest shade, and then work my way down to the black shade in the palette, and that will be shade number 10. So shade number 1, I was able to use 11 more times this month, making for a total of 36 uses in this project. If I don't say in this update how many uses it took me to hit pan, that means I've already hit pan on it in previous months. I think that's just the easiest way to go about it. So this shade already had a pan on it going into the month of April. Shade number 2, I was able to use 5 times in the month of April for a total of 23 uses in this project. Shade number 3, I was only able to use 2 more times in the month of April, making for a total of 4 uses in this project. Shade number 4, I used twice in the month of April, making for a total of 6 uses in this project. Shade number 5, I only used once in the month of April, making for a total of 5 uses in this project so far. Shade number 6, I used a total of 5 times in the month of April. making for a total of 16 uses in the project, and I actually hit pan on this shade this month after the 13th use. Shade number 7 is the one that I have been concentrating on for my brows. I used this a total of 16 times in the month of April for a total of 22 uses in the project. Shade number 8, I only used twice in the month of April, making for a total of 28 uses in this project. Shade number 9, I didn't use it all in the month of April, making for a total of 4 uses in the project. I think this is going to be my problematic shade. And shade number 10, I used 11 times in the month of April for a total of 36 uses in this project. So moving right along, slow and steady. Shade number 1, I have been using as a lid setting shade, as well as shade number 2, just because they are so light, they don't show up. Shade number 10, I have been using as a shadow to mark out where my liner goes before I use a pencil or liquid liner. And then shades 6, 7, and 8 are brow shades for me. I'm hoping that when summertime comes and I'm feeling a little bit more browny, bronzy looks, that I'll get some use out of the browner shades in this palette. So the starting weight on this palette was 87.88 grams when it first came into the project. Last month, after 3 months of use, it weighed 85.77 grams. For a total of 2.11 grams used in those 3 months, which is why if I'm supposed to be using 1.17 grams per month, I ended up being 1.4 grams behind in my goals. So with that goal of 1.17 grams, let me tell you what the palette is weighing now. At the end of April, this palette is weighing 84.61 grams for a total of 1.16 grams used in the month of April. I was so close to hitting my goal, but that means I am now 1.41 grams behind of using this palette up in this project. I have never used up a palette in a full calendar year just because I really love to rotate through my eyeshadow collection, which is vast and I love color. So just sticking to one for the entirety of a year just isn't part of my style, but I do love Pan That palette just because I can focus in on a palette and I can get much better use on it than just using it no pan left behind and then putting it away for the year. So that's why I do Pan That palette. It's not necessarily to use a palette up, although that would be fantastic, but it's just to really to get to know a palette, to understand it better. And this palette is great as a utilitarian palette. I use it for setting my cream shadow that I use as my eyeshadow base. I use it for my brows. I use it to sketch out my eyeliner for the day. And I really like using it in those ways. The gray shade and the other brown shades, I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna use those in the summer months to come, but I'm gonna keep working on it. I really am interested to see at how far I'm going to get by the end of the year. So that is where I'm at with my Pan That palette at the end of April 2025. Like I said, I'm gonna keep working on it, but I'm interested. Are you guys doing this project? Are you guys part of the Fantastic Ladies collab over on Facebook? Are you using a different palette this year as your Pan That palette? If you are, just let me know in the comments down below and where you do your updates, whether it's here on YouTube, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, so I can come on over and cheer you on, because when panning a palette, we need all of the moral support that we can get. But that's everything that I have for you today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. You know I always love when you do. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. It lets YouTube know that you like my content and that other people with the same interests as you will like my content too. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.